Good evening. Welcome to People's Voice Cafe. This is our 8th live Zoom show, and we're really glad to have you with us. I hope you're going to have a good evening with us. Hope everybody's all right. This has been quite a slog, but I think we're getting through it. My name is Brent. I'll be your host tonight. Tonight is the performance it's going to be about the environment, the climate crisis, and environmental racism. We have 3 fantastic sets. We'll be starting in a minute. Just want to remind people that in addition to whatever registration you may have contributed, we also accept additional contributions on behalf of the performers. There'll be 90% of whatever's collected tonight goes directly to the performers. So tonight I'll tell you the lineup. We have Carrie and Michael Kline. We have David Allard, and we have the Irthlingz Duo, Sharon and Abreu, and Michael Hurwicz. We're going to be starting with Carrie and Michael. Carrie and Michael Kline present their music both as entertainment and social history, with engaging ease and hard-hitting passion. They have spent years recording music and spoken narrative in Cherokee, North Carolina, the Appalachian coalfields, and mountainside farms, along with industrial cities from Cincinnati to New England. The Kline's high mountain harmony vocals meld with their intertwining bass lines on 2 guitars, with Michael Kline's melodic flat-picking guitar playing and Carrie's dynamic backup. As folklorist musicians, they weave songs and stories wrapped in a patchwork quilt of vivid imagery. Their oral history and music podcast is called Taking Across the Lines. And there's more music and web link on our on People's Voice Cafe's website. So please join me in welcoming Michael and Carrie Kline.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks to the People's Voice Cafe for having us. We're going to start with a song that comes from ballad keeper Maggie Hammonds of West Virginia. And it's interesting to think that way back when this song was made, it's really, people were making a comment on how humans affected the climate. Here they were hungry, and of course they wanted some bacon, being good Appalachian people. So they were looking for hog meat, and turns out they had fought these hogs before. And the old blue sow was not happy about what happened, and she perhaps affected our lives today in her very last breath. One year, when bacon was scarce, and us having none, we mounted our horses and shouldered our guns. Straightway to the wildwood we must steer, to kill off the wild hogs and drive in the deer. When we got there, we rambled a while. We looked at each other and tried not to smile. Ain't these the same wild hogs we fit here before? The old blue sow and the blacklisted boar. The old blue sow, she lay still in her bed, hearing every word that John likens he said. She rose from her bed and she sprang for to run, but as soon as she did, it was Porter's old gun. Well, she moaned and she groaned and lay sick in her bed, saying, now you will suffer for what you have did. Your streets they will rattle, the water will roar, your cowhide will crack till your back it is sore. Here back at Willow Lake, till it's perfectly sore.
Well, things have been quaking and aching and ever since in West Virginia with the excruciating mining of coal. And for 150 years, this has been going on in West Virginia. It's how it got started, how the state got started was this wealth in coal that it had. And beyond whatever the market price in ton is, from one day to the next, there's a terrific human cost in mining coal. And gradually, the market forces have changed the emphasis on coal. It now represents about 3% of the gross in West Virginia, although it still dominates the politics in West Virginia, you can be sure of that. But we're gradually 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward, making a change toward green energy. And this has been traumatic for coal miners and their families because there, of course, with the coal politics, there's been no planning and no design for making this transition. Instead, we've called it Obama's war on coal, and a lot of other things too that I can't say here on the program. But I'm going to sing a song. We're going to sing a song together now by Billy Ed Wheeler, written back in the early 1960s, that describes a miner's love for coal mining.
So we sing this on behalf of a just transition, which I think we're working toward.
And what a miner hates most is being out of work and having to travel down the road looking for another job at another coal mine.
So here's to green jobs in West Virginia and Appalachia, everywhere.
Traveling on down that coal town road, listen to my rubber tires whine. Look by the Buckeye and white sycamore, I'm leaving you behind. I've been a coal man all my life, laying down track in the hole. Got a back like an ironwood bent by the wind, but veins as blue as the coal, but veins as blue as the coal. Somebody said that's a strange tattoo you have on the side of your head. I said that's the blue mark left by the coal. Just a little more and I'd be dead. I love the rumble and I love the dark. I love the cool of the sleigh. But it's traveling down that new road looking for a job, traveling and looking ahead, traveling and looking ahead. I stood for the union, walked in the line, and I fought against the company. I stood for the UMW all day. Now who's gonna stand for me? I got no house and I got no pay. I just got a worrying soul and a blues tattoo on the side of my head, left by the number 9 cold, left by the number 9 cold. Someday when I'm dead and gone to heaven, the land of my dreams, I won't have to worry about losing my job to hard times and big machines. I won't have to pay my money away in dues and hospital plans. I'm gonna cut gold while the blue heavens roll, sing with the angel band, sing with the angel band. It's traveling on down that old town road. Listen to my rubber tires whine. Goodbye to Buckeye and White Sycamore. I believe in you behind. So, thank you, everybody. We talked about putting on some canned applause here, so so that we get 10,000 people clapping. But it sounds even better with just the ones who are with us tonight. So I'm gonna do another song by Billy Ed Wheeler, by the same man, who was a native of the coal fields, born in Boone County, right on the Raleigh County line, and attended Berea College and became a world-known musician for his outdoor dramas and his powerful, wonderful songs. And he did this one to kind of a rock band sound behind it, but we heard David Morris sing it, making it sound like an old regular Baptist hymn, and it's kind of raw and strong, and so I'm just going to sing it the way I learned it from David. Down in the valley, about a mile from me, where the crows no longer cry, there's a great big earth-moving monster machine, stands 10 stories high. Well, the ground he can eat hits the side, he can rip out 100 tons at a bite. He can eat up the grass, it's a fact, but he can't put it back. They come and tell me I got to move, make way for that big machine, but I ain't a-moving unless they kill me like they killed the fish in my stream. But look at that big machine go. Oh, Lord, it took that shady grove a long time to grow. He can rip it out with one whack, but he can't put it back. I never was one to walk in lines, go to all them meetings or carry signs. But maybe I'm behind the times. You can bet your sweet life they're gonna hear from me. I ain't gonna take it laying down, 'cause I'm getting tired of seeing rocks that bleed on the bare guts of the ground. And I ain't a-selling my soul so they can strip out another tiny little vein of coal. I ain't a-moving out of my tracks 'cause they can't put it back. They can't put it back. That's how David sang it.
Nice job, Michael. Well, we're going to do a song that came to you when you and Rich Kirby were playing at a festival in Berea, Kentucky, about 1968?
I think about that.
Mid-60s?
Late 60s sometime.
This 16-year-old came up to you.
Well, it was actually a concert to talk more about this horrible strip mining that had really gotten underway since the mid-60s when the technology had evolved enough that they could really rip the side of a mountain down to get at a seam of coal. And then they had these 7-foot wide augers that they would drill into the side and rake out all the coal. And of course that destroyed the water tables. People's wells went dry. The acid rain polluted all the streams and killed a lot of the timber. And it was just environmental holocaust, you might say. So after the concert, this young boy came up and he said, you know, I made a song on that strip mining too. And I said, you did? And he said, yes, I did. And it's about our family and how they pushed us off our land and destroyed our farm. And I said, can you sing it? I handed him my guitar, and so he played it and sang it. And
His name was Glenn Lawson.
Glenn Lawson. And he went on to be a great bluegrass player.
We call it the Spider Song.
We call this a Spider Song.
We don't know what he called it.
And I can't sing it as good as he did, but I'll give it a try here. See, I'm at the... I come from the mountains that roll inland. I once was happy, but now I'm sad that mining company took away my home, bought up my land, and now it's gone. There's no more sparrows, there's no more trees. I'll go to the city, the beans are for me. I'll cut my roots and I'll work in the mill while the mining company destroys my hill. $800 would have saved my land, but that banker was a mining man. There's no more time, was all he had to say. Now I got to leave here, Lord, in 6 more days. I told the spider to move her web, told the sparrow to move her nest far over the mountains, to where the land is green, where there ain't no bankers, no mining machine. Said I told the spider to move her web. I told the sparrow to move her nest far over the mountains, to where the land is green, where there ain't no bankers, no mining machine. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
So, yes, thank you for having us. We do have a podcast called Talking Across the Lines, where we share a lot of oral history. Maybe I'll put that in the chat. Can everyone see that? I can't really tell. I guess, hope so. I'll do that when we get done. And website is folktalk.org. Really good to be together, and glad we're having this climate moment to think about how to move things along. Some very exciting bills in Congress right now, and everything from the Reclaim Act to deal with strip mines. And
We've got a
greenhouse.
whole evening's worth of grim, awful, dark songs about this, about what's happened to West Virginia, but we're gonna
We'll
wind
spare
up
you.
with something. We're gonna wind up with something a little more. It's not exactly cheerful, but a little more palatable, I think.
It's by Molly Mason, and it's really about farming through the seasons, and we'll journey from Appalachia to the prairie land. We're in western Massachusetts now, and yes, there are mountains, but it is amazing to see all this nice, flat, fertile farmland. My sister and brother-in-law are here in the room with us, and he has a beautiful farm, and we've been digging and different soil here. Harvest home. Thanks again to the People's Voice.
Hum it a little bit. Oh yeah.
When spring lights up the prairie in 1,000 shades of green, the farmer gently wakes the earth from its dark and ancient dream. Each volunteers who make this event happen, keep the People's Voice Cafe going. Thanks to all our friends and friends yet unmet who have joined us. It's great to see so many old friends and really looking forward to the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Carrie and Michael Kline. What a performance. That was great. I'm pretty excited because I just got news from Zoom that we have an echo. No? Okay. We have over 80 registrants tonight, which is many more than we've had before. So thank you all for joining with us. Next up, we have Gary David Allard. Gary David Allard is a soulful contemporary singer-songwriter. He continues to build his unique sound by extracting inspiration from a plethora of genres, including folk blues, gospel, R&B, and Caribbean music. He composes his lyrics from his own personal and social experiences, striving to connect with his audience through tender yet powerful emotional singing. And again, check our website for the performers' links. Gary David Allard, please welcome. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. And it was such a pleasure to hear the Clines. You guys were so amazing, man. I can't wait to hear y'all guys live and check out your podcast. Please post that so I could really check out some great inspirational stories that you just gave us. But thank you. And thank you, People's Voice Cafe, for inviting me. Hoping to have a wonderful evening. All right. As you guys know, the topic is global warming. And as I sat down and I thought about global warming, I really thought about the millions of lives that's going to be lost in the near future if we do not do anything about it. And, I was hoping that, we all hope that all our people in the world will just unite to do something about it, to stop all these people from dying and to take care of Mother Earth. And this song that I wrote years ago, and I rewrote it to fit our theme, is called When, and it's talking about our leaders. And so, hope you enjoy. When will our leaders all unite? And when will they all agree? And when will they stop the fight to take care of our planet's needs? I don't care what people say. Global warming, aka rich get rich, poor people fade away. Oh, tell me when will our wheels all unite? And when will they all agree? And when will they stop the fight? And when will all agree? Rulers think they're so damn tough, think they get more than not serious. Mercy bears more fruits than just us. Oh, tell me when will leaders all unite? And when will all violence cease? And when will they stop the fight to take care of our planet's needs? They will pay on Judgment Day all those lives that passed away. Daylight comes on, darkness fades away. Oh, tell me when will all leaders all unite? And when will they all agree? stop the climb, to take care of our planet's needs. So please show them how to love someone. Tell them how to love someone. Show them how to love someone. Tell them to love someone. Oh. Thank you again for hanging out with us. This next song is called The Rain Come Down, and I was sitting here in my living room thinking about the hurricanes in hurricanes in Puerto Rico, New Orleans, the Bahamas, and I was thinking about all those poor people that was struggling during the floods, and I wanted to put myself in their shoes. And that's how I wrote this song. I try to put myself in a person's shoes, how they would feel and react. And this song is called "The Rain Comes Down." Woke up to the morning sun, washed my face to greet everyone. Now when the newsman said I should leave this city, but a little rain ain't bothering me. Then the rain came down, the rain came down. Yes, the rain came down, Lord, came down. The rain came, yes, the rain came down. The rain came down, the rain came down. Oh, the rain came down, Lord. The rain came down, the rain came down. The lovely beats and submerged all our roads. And 2 towns down, it consumed all those homes. And muddy water rising up to my knees. I wonder if God is punishing me. And the rain came down, the rain came down, the rain came, yes, the rain came down, Lord. The rain came down, the rain came down, yes, the rain came down. The rain came down, the rain came down, yes, the rain came down, Lord. The rain came down, the rain came down. You can hear the rain, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, bombarded, diggy, dum, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, dum, diggy, bombarded, bombarded. The rain has ceased, but the clouds remain black. Some friends are dead, some that they're not coming back. And standing waters rising up to my knees. And also this man said that we're too damn lazy. And the rain came down. The rain came down. The rain came down. Yes, the rain came down, Lord. The rain came down. The rain came down. Yes, the rain came down, 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 down. The rain came. Yes, the rain came down, Lord. The rain came down. The rain came down. And I hear the rain, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, dum, diggy, dum, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, bombarded, diggy, dum, diggy, dum, diggy. Thank you. And thank you to my chorus friends here that's hanging out with me this evening. Oh man. This next song is called Sorry. This next song is called Gathered by the Water, written by Sarah Hart. The reason I chose this song to do tonight, because I was thinking about water and the spirituality of water and what the devastation that we're doing with the water, with our polluting our waters and everything that's going on. Because, you know, I personally believe that our religious communities should be helping us protect our waters because they know water is life. They know water is protection. And so I chose the song Gathered by the Water by Sarah Hart to emphasize community. All right, so, and my friends are here will help me sing this song. And let's give them a mic. I don't know, start soon. Get one. Ready, guys? We will gather the water, gather at the water. We will gather at the water and receive new life. We will gather at the water, gather at the water. We will gather at the water and receive new life. Thank you so much. I always like to sing a gathering song and a song that we can sing in community. And I think in regards to global warming and the environment, I think we all should sing in community. All right. This next song I wanted to do is a song I haven't done in a while. You know, I was thinking about the Salvation Army and how they treated African Americans during the floods and the hurricane during New Orleans, African Americans. And I remember hearing a story where they had brought in their trucks of food and clothes to help people that was starving and was lost their homes. And you guys know exactly what was happening during that time. But they brought in these trucks in these communities and they just left it there and left it closed. They were afraid to walk into the African American communities, and that was the height of like environmental discrimination. These people were so much struggling that, as you can remember in CNN and all the news, that they were like breaking into grocery stores and whatsoever just to feed their children, just to feed themselves, because they wasn't eating for days. And those trucks was right there. And then they had the news, it was just putting their cameras to these people and it was like, look at what they're doing, but not telling them the stories of how they were treated. So the name of this song that I want to do is called Nothing. Toy picture baby down from my wall. You ain't gonna harm me, baby. I ain't gonna fall. And I heard you talking some shit about me. Said you don't like me, baby, and you think I would leave. And did I mean nothing when you were around? And did I mean nothing when you tore me down? Was attention from you, and did I mean nothing when I was with you? You're falling apart. You're my darkest sugar. Someone's pain in your heart. You have not been running and spreading some news. You said you can't stand me, baby, and you think I would lose. And did I mean nothing when you were around? And did I mean nothing when you tore me down? And all I was wanting was attention from you. And did I mean nothing when I was with you? Now it's amazing, baby, you're deceiving yourself. The fire's catching sugar, and you might burn in hell. You're jealous of me, and our love is now dead. Love me, leave me, baby, I'm still in your hand. And did I mean nothing when you were around? And did I mean nothing when you tore me down? And all I was wanting was attention from you. And did I mean nothing when I was with you? And did I mean nothing when you were around? And did I mean nothing when you tore me down? And all I was wanting was attention from you. And did I mean nothing when I was with you? Thank you. And thank you to my backgrounds. And thanks again. So this song, the next song I want to do is called Shame on You. A friend of mine asked me to sing a song tonight. And some friends who was out there asked me to, never heard this song, so I would want to sing it for them. And also a friend in England, he asked me also to sing a song. He would love to sing it in England, so, it's such a blessing. I've been thinking of you for a very long time. And I want to talk to you, babe, to get things off in my mind. I can't let this go on. The way that you sing, the tie that binds my strong, and I'm blaming you now. You say we can't get along. Shame on you now. The shame's on you now, baby. Yes, my dreams came true. There is more that I must say. More that I must say. And it's strange to you, babe, that I'm acting this way. Acting this way. I'm not too cute to keep around. That's the way that you see me. Too ashamed to hit that town. And I'm blaming you now, and you try to break me down. So shame on you now. Shame's on you now, baby. was weak and you were strong. That's the way that you sing. I'm so happy that you're gone. I'm blaming you now. Now I'm forced to write this song. So shame on you now. The shame's on you, not me, baby. The shame's on you, not me. The shame's on you, not me. Shame's on you, not me. The shame's on you, not me, baby. Thank you again, and thank you. So I think for one of our last songs, I want to do this African-American spiritual, Come and Go With Me to This Land. And as you know, this is a gathering song and a song for our African ancestors. We'll let, others know that, we are leaving. We're leaving, we are escaping. This is what scholars had said. But I changed some of the words in it to fit our theme. So instead of, it's come and go with me to that land, and there's no more global warming in this land. There's clean water in this land. There's climate justice in this land. So let's.
Come and go with me to that land.
thank you, People Voice Cafe for inviting us again, and thank you for all the wonderful performers. I can't wait to hear the rest. You guys are so amazing.
Thank you, Gary David Allard. What a nice show. Wow. And thanks to your co-singers there. Well, a little bit after 9 o'clock. So one more set, and I'm sure you'll stick around for that. Next, we have the Irthlingz Duo, Sharon Abreu and Michael Hurwicz. With a variety of woody, stringy instruments, rich vocal harmonies, and good humor, the Irthlingz Duo sings for peace and environmental healing. Sharon and Michael have sung in concert with Pete Seeger and provided music for the World Summit on Sustainable Development in South Africa.
You okay there?
We have some background noise. I don't know who's got their mic on. Their musical, Penguins on Thin Ice, was performed at the United Nations, and Sharon performed her show, The Climate Monologues, in the United Solo and Los Angeles Women's Theater Festivals. They have composed songs for Zero Waste Washington and Orcas Power and Light Cooperative's Switch It Up Energy Efficiency Campaign. And now, all the way from Western Washington State, the Irthlingz Duo, Sharon Abreu and Michael Hurwicz. Please welcome them.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being with us tonight. And this is a very special occasion for us because it's an Earth Day concert, because it's People's Voice Cafe, where we met 23 years ago, almost to the day. So we're celebrating Mother Earth and People's Voice Cafe and ourselves. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to get hit with that. So, okay. So we're going to do a song now called Economology. The economy depends on the ecology. 1, 2, 3.
There's a lesson that is dawning on humanity, a species that has suffered from insanity. It's a very special lesson of prosperity. The economy depends on the ecology. Many years back in old Iraq, agriculture was invented. Population increase, cut down all the trees, now that place a desert. The economy depends on the ecology. Economy depend on the ecology. From a land and sea come prosperity. The economy depend on the ecology. See, you and me are the economy, and we depend on the ecology. If the world isn't healthy, neither will we be. Economy depend on the ecology. There was a place called Love Canal. People had a work aplenty, but a factory man put poison in the land, and now that town is empty. The factory depend on the ecology. A factory depend on the ecology. Don't poison the land, Mr. Factory Man. The economy depend on the ecology. I don't think war will solve a problem. It only bring devastation. Let's stay home and take care of our own land, and we will have a stronger nation. Democracy depend on the ecology. Freedom depend on the ecology. Your side, my side, everybody. Everything depend on the ecology. University depend on the ecology. The coffee house depend on the ecology. Baseball, football, democracy, everything depend on the ecology. You and me depend on the ecology. She and he depend on the ecology. All of we depend on the ecology. It's a lesson that is dawning on humanity. Economology. And now we're going to do a song that Sharon wrote about a whale by the name of Granny, who used to live in the waters out here in the Salish Sea, and was reputed to be 105 years old the last time that she was seen. And one of our friends asked, Sharon, what do you think Granny would say if she was to give us advice? So Sharon wrote this song, What Would Granny Say?
Yes, and it was a great opportunity to really think about what Granny would say to us. You know, the southern resident killer whales are really in danger right now, have been for quite some time, and the orcas are considered ancestors by our local tribes, and we are learning so much from them and really appreciating their teaching and their efforts to protect our waters and our wildlife and our people. So, what would Granny say? What would Granny say to her children? What would she need them to know? She'd say, look both ways before you go, and don't forget, I love you so. What would Granny say to her children? And her great-grandchildren too. More than a century living in the sea, she's learned a thing or two. What would Granny say? Travel in troubled waters. What would Granny say to all our sons and daughters? What would Granny say to her children? Oh, the stories she could tell of seas that filled with salmon before the tankers roared and the huge nets fell. She described the changing shoreline, how cold the water used to be, of that blob along the coastline, and of blubber filled with PCBs. The matriarch of J-Pod, beloved Orca tribe. How did she survive so long to birth and guide and thrive? What would Granny say? She'd tell them of the borders only human beings can see, how she fought when she was captured, and how lucky they are to be free. She'd tell them all the things she'd seen back when the waters were pristine. She'd tell them always be aware, and above all else, be kind and share. What would Granny say? Travel in troubled waters. What would Granny say? Navigating crowded corridors. She'd tell them of her journeys 100 miles a day. Some days you'll have too much to eat. Some days there won't be any meat. She'd tell them how the notch got in the trailing edge of her dorsal fin, how before the ship Titanic sailed, she was slapping waves with her mighty tail. The guiding light of her family, California to the Salish Sea. She would guide us if we let her, but will we let her? What would Granny say to you and me if she had the opportunity? She'd say, please save the Salish Sea, for the fish, the birds, the seals, the whales, and for all humanity. What would Granny say? What would Granny say? So, while we're on the subject of marine life and water, here's a song Mike wrote about the problem of ocean acidification being caused by global warming.
Acidification of the ocean is a problem, 'cause calcification of shells and corals can get messed up. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shells and corals can get messed up. Well, let me tell you about a little clam. Just want to grow to be a man clam. But the ocean chemistry, just too much acidity. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just too much acidity. Oh, the tale's sad to tell. Just trying to grow a little shell now. Let me tell you what we can do. Transition off of fossil fuel. Stop acidification. Use the tidal wind and sun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Use the tidal wind and sun. Clean way of living, man. Use the tidal wind and sun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Use them all efficiently, man. Acidification. And now we're going to do a song that Sharon wrote called Blue and Green. It's about getting the environmental movement and the labor movement together. We cannot have this thing of jobs versus the environment. We need jobs and we need a clean, healthy environment.
I like to say that jobs versus environment is so 19th century. But really, it's a huge problem because I'm a union member for over 20 years and a climate change educator for over 20 years. And we need just transition programs, and we need all labor at the table, and we need it yesterday.
Sharon wrote this for the launch of the Blue-Green Coalition in
Spokane,
Washington.
When they launched back in 2004. Okay. Sing with us on Blue and Green. 2, 3, 4. Green is for the grasses and the leaves that help us breathe. Green is for the living earth that gives us all we need. Blue is for the oceans connecting every shore. Blue is for the workers from Spokane to East Timor.
We are a coalition, a union of blue and green, with a deep sustaining vision of work and play and earth in harmony.
Blue and green, here we go.
Blue and green, blue and green, sky and land, work and man, our union of blue and green. a union of blue and green, with a deep sustaining vision of work and play, and earth in harmony.
Blue and green, here we go.
Blue and green, blue and green, sky and land, work and man, a union of
Blue and
So we've got a river here. It's the major tributary of
Well, it's
the.
not right here.
Well, it's in our state. It's in
Our
Washington
state.
State at
And
least,
other states.
and a few other states, I guess too. It's called the Snake River. It's the largest tributary of the Columbia, and the Columbia is a key river for the salmon, the Chinooks. And the salmon, in turn, are a key part of the food chain for the Orcas. And there's some dams on the lower Snake River that keep the Chinook from swimming up there to spawn.
They've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars trying to solve this problem. It hasn't worked. We need to breach the dams. And you're going to get that message in this song. And you'll probably recognize the melody. So sing along with us.
This was written along with our friend Annette Bader and our friend Woody Guthrie.
Concrete walls built where the salmon once swam. Since then the salmon have been in a jam. Good luck to the Orcas, survive if you can. Breach the four Snake River dams. Breach the four lower Snake River dams. Breach those Snake River dams. Their power is surplus, we're taking a stand. Breach the four Snake River dams.
There's not enough food for our resident whales. They may not survive to tell their own tale. Let's help Chinook salmon to get out of jail.
Let's breach the four Snake River dams.
Breach the four lower
Snake River dams. Breach those Snake River dams.
Remember that salmon don't start out in cans.
Breach the four Snake River dams. Oh, mighty men work to put power online. Seemed like a real good idea at the time, but with southern residents' lives on the line, we must breach the four Snake River dams. Breach the four lower Snake River dams. Breach those Snake River dams. The lives of our Orcas are now in our hands. Breach the four Snake River dams. So roll on, Snake River, roll on. Roll on before all the salmon are gone. Like in the old days, free passage to spawn. Let the Snake River roll on. And breach the four lower Snake River dams. Breach those Snake River dams.
Save the Chinook salmon while we still can.
Breach the four Snake River dams. Just notice we're saying breach, not, what's the other word? Get rid of, eliminate, deconstruct, because breaching can be done a lot quicker and a lot more cheaply than actually removing the whole dam. So we're saying breach. And it's interesting because I think that would make the Orcas breach too.
This is a song I wrote a while back called Wild, Wild River, and it's a tribute to wild rivers. I actually had a dream about a wild river, and I was in a dream group, and in this group, you would become everything in your dream. That's how you would really get a feeling for what your dream was really about. And so I became this wild river that was in my dream, And this is the song that came out of it.
He's a wild river. I go running down the rocks. I don't wear shoes, I don't wear socks. Start up on the mountain top. Until I reach the ocean, I don't stop.
Oh, I run deep and I run strong. I hit the rocks, sing a beautiful song. No one ever dammed me up, never will, and so I'll never die. And they call me a wild, wild river. Call me a wild, wild river.
100 bright things live in me and leap in me so deep in me. All year long we play outside and always will, and so we'll never die.
And 1,000 years I've played a happy fool. I'm not afraid to run and leap into the sea. I love the sun. I'm not afraid to fly. Fly, and they call me a wild, wild river. Call me a wild, wild river. Some folks say that I don't pay. I just say then stay away, and I will stay a wild, wild river. I will stay a wild, wild river. Go wild, Sharon. Some folks say that I don't pay. I just say then come and play, and I will stay a wild, wild river. I will stay a wild, wild river. I will stay a wild, wild river. Thank you. So our next, and I guess our last song is a song that Sharon wrote, and it's called Goodbye Oil.
Oh, I need a capo, I need a capo. Will you take this guitar?
Oh, sorry.
And you can take that bass. Okay, yes, so this song, it was sort of inspired by a song I heard many years ago from the Dixie Chicks. It was called Goodbye Earl, and it's funny because, you know, if you have a Brooklyn accent, sometimes people will say Earl instead of oil. So I thought, wouldn't it be funny to write a song called Goodbye Oil? And this is actually, we started with this song in our Penguins on Thin Ice show a bunch of years ago. So you could sing Goodbye Oil with us, and then we're going to say goodbye to all of you, and thank you so much for being here with us tonight and celebrating this beautiful planet of ours and people and our potential and People's Voice Cafe. And Mike will dance. Oh, that's right, you dance. Government and oil were the best of friends all through their old school days. Both members of the Old Boys Club refining the American way. After the elections, the vows were taken, and all of those who paid and toiled had to be paid back for their hard work, and the debt was to be paid in oil. Oil, don't say oil, not oil. With combustion engines and housing heat and lights in every building
floods and changing climate made it so we finally had to see that oil had to go. Ta 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 ta. Goodbye, oil. Those SUVs, they never look good to me. Oil, you're feeling hot. It's happening like it or not. Oil, you're in the dark. Turn on the light in your heart. Oil, the enviros came in and brought a warning, but people didn't want to hear. They kept on buying those SUVs. The truth gave them too much fear. Some said coal could save our soul, but it was just more CO2. And you couldn't deny that people were dying from the mining and its poisons too. Coal and oil had to go. Ta 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 ta. Goodbye, oil. Sing it with us now. Ta 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 ta. Goodbye, oil. So we bought solar panels, yeah, photovoltaics. Put them in our windows and roofs. We got rail and electric cars, windmills and biofuel. We do the conservation groove, 'cause oil has to go. Ta 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 ta. Goodbye, oil. Time to awake. Do you know what's at stake? Oil, what a surprise. Watch the sea level rise. Oil leave you in the ground. There's cleaner power to be found. Oil, your price is too high. We'll get our fuel from the sky. Oil, goodbye, oil.
And goodbye to all of you wonderful people. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much, everybody. Keep the faith.
Thank you, Earthlings. Thank you for joining us all the way from the other coast. What a terrific evening. Well, we want to thank everybody for being here, especially the performers. Thanks to our publicity people, Ruthie Indek and Doug Cook, our production and booking teams, Sally Campbell, Martha Gottwalls, Rocco Lieberman, and Steve Suffett. Lev Pinsky engineered, and I'm Brent Kramer. Please join us in 4 weeks, May 15th, for our next People's Voice Cafe live stream. It's going to be on war, peace, and internationalism, and we're going to be so lucky. Our great friend Fred Arcoleo has brought together a bunch of people to celebrate peace, basically. Soon, in the next week or two, you can find all the information and registration at our website, peoplesvoicecafe.org. And again, we thank you all for your support, both for being here and your financial support, keeping People's Voice Cafe and this kind of music and this spirit alive. See you in 4 weeks. Have a good night.